beautiful soul. Welcome. This is Rochelle with the Healing Rose. We're taking a look at the 22 Archangels Oracle by Kyle Gray. The artwork is Jennifer Hawkyard, and this is the new release from Hay House. So it is only 22 cards. So it's quite small, the box. These glossy boxes, I tell you, they're always such a pain to open. So he puts a lovely little message inside. And the front and the back. So there's a lovely little bit in there. We have the guidebook. So the guidebook does give us, working with your cards, bonding with your cards. Then he gives us a daily card, the 3-card spread, the Strength, Heart, and Challenge spread, which is his favorite spread. He has a 9-card variation of it. So it's like past, present, future, kind of relationships, home life, career, and Strength, Heart, and Challenge all combined. The descriptions are basically like the angels. So with Ariel, means lioness of God. The warrior spirit talks about her for like 4 or 5 sentences, and then we have the message and what message she brings. And so they're very brief little descriptives, which honestly I don't think you need more than that. The backs are lovely. It was an interesting choice to go with glossy. I'm not a fan of glossy cards. I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice. So let's take a look. Let's move this out of the way just a little bit here. So as I went through this, I had a thought, and my thought was, this feels really familiar. And there's 6 additional cards, and the 6 additional cards are like, okay. I was kind of like, I was not super wowed by the choice, I will say. And then as I'm going through, I'm like, these are really familiar. And so I grabbed my Angel Prayers Oracle cards and pulled them out and pulled out the Archangels to see which ones, how many of them overlap. So we've got our 16 I guess I'm going to call them standard archangels, the ones kind of everyone knows about. So if you have any of Radley Valentine's decks, you're going to be very familiar with these angels as well. They're the same archangels, right? So we have Ariel, and the messages are pretty standard. Azrael, there's not much of a shift. I mean, her backgrounds are beautiful and textural and lovely, right? Quite a different, I would say, art style from Jason McCready's. And so Gabriel has obviously shifted quite a bit. I did love her red hair. And honestly, I think it's just because it reminds me of my grandmother. So, that's my personal connection. I also just love this. So, we have Haniel, Jeremiah, and so there's a shift with Jeremiah as well. See, for me, he always kind of looks like Matt Smith here, so it makes me think of Doctor Who. And so it's kind of an interesting shift over. This is so very linear, this image. Jophiel, I do love this. I love these bright apple green nails. But I love this softness and the sparkle that comes off of here. So there's something to be said. Jennifer's artwork is gorgeous. I love in here the linear, the very sort of geometric, sacred geometry references with Metatron, and this is much softer. I was kind of like, why isn't Michael in his armor, was my first thought I had when I looked at this. I was like, oh, he has no armor. And I'm not a fan of these wings. Orion, to me, so fascinating how very similar this purple shade is. Like, it's practically, I mean, yeah, it's very, very much the same when you overlap them. I don't know how it picks up on camera, but to the eye, it's very close. So we have Raguel, very similar. Raphael, very similar. Raziel, I did love this. I mean, when I first saw this, I kind of loved this sort of magical magician, sort of, you know, psychic powers, healing hands, radiant heart energy that comes off of this image. This, I looked at it, I went, oh, really? The asymmetry here is interesting, but it's like, here's one wing and where's the other wing? It kind of threw me a little bit, if I'm honest. Is this meant to be the wing sweeping forward? I don't know. Very interesting. Beautiful art, but my analytical brain goes a little nuts when things are unbalanced like that. I don't know. So Sandalphon, very much the same message, even though there's, you know, a shift. He doesn't have wings here, but we still, this bit of green here and the green in here, it's overall so similar. Uriel, very, very close, very much the same. Zadkiel has a very similar color tone, the purples, and that presentation, like, we're presenting a cauldron of fire, and here we're presenting like a flame. So I thought, well, do you really need, if you have angel prayers, do you need 22 Archangels Oracle? Was kind of the thought I had. I was like, oh, it's so repetitive. So let's look at our extra cards that we get. So in here, we have 44 cards total, right? So it's double the amount of cards. So you can do a lot of readings without getting the same messages. With 22 cards, it's a little bit different. So we do have faith, hope, and charity. We have Daniel, Amethyst, and Seraphiel. I do love this card. There's something just so wonderful about this card. The color tones, these peachy, apricot-y wings. This, I don't even have words for what this color combination, it's just gorgeous. This is also just a beautiful card. I love the little birds, the little butterflies, the little winged things flying around. This, I don't know what's going on here. I'm not, and to be honest, this is the first card I opened the deck and I was like, oh. So this is not my favorite image in the deck. Daniel is quite interesting. You know, I think it's, you know, I don't want to be unkind, but as it functions as an oracle, if we're just doing angel card readings and we're only doing a 3-card reading, this is perfectly adequate for that. It does give a lovely reading if you're doing a 1-card draw or a 3-card draw. As far as using it for more expanded readings, like a 9-card reading, for me, it feels like there's maybe not enough there to do that with. I was really kind of struggling because I love doing that Celtic cross, you know, 10, 11 card spread. So with this, we have our 16 Archangels, and there's 44 cards in total. So we're not just getting an extra 6 cards, right? We're actually getting an extra 28 cards. So there's a lot of expanded, readings we can do with angel prayers. If you have angel prayers, do you need this one? I don't know. I think it's a matter of, do you prefer the artwork? What are you going to do with it? If you're just doing a daily card pull, again, there's only 22 cards. So if you're using this every day, you will start to get repetitive messages. And for myself, if I'm just doing an angel card reading, yes, there's the very quick, very short 3-card reading. I often, however, tend to do the angel numerology with it, in which case I like a deck that is numbered. So I like having the numbers on the cards for myself, because then that gives me another layer to work with. So as it stands, it works beautifully for 1-card draws and 3-card draws. So there is that. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear anyone else's thoughts on it. I mean, beyond anything else, I mean, the artwork is beautiful. It's soft. It's got these beautiful textures to it. So I do really appreciate that. Like, I love this background. It's absolutely gorgeous what's happened here. The shape actually does make me think of like a beaker that's bubbling, that's full of something and it's bubbling up. So it's kind of a science feel to me. This to me feels so fairy-like. It's gorgeous. There's no fault with the deck and its beauty. And the backs are lovely, and the card stock is great. It shuffles well. I'm not a fan of the glossy deck. But for me, I think honestly, if I just wanted to just have my Archangels out to add it to a layer to a reading, would I pull this off the shelf or would I just grab these cards? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I definitely know that I would not have purchased this had it not been part of the card club membership. So it was not something that was on my radar. And if I'm really honest, I'm very disappointed that this beautiful holographic sparkly star layer that's been added was not somewhere included in the actual cards. I know I'm asking for a lot. But like, why'd you give me sparkle here if you weren't going to give me sparkle inside? So that's kind of where my brain goes with it. But I do think it's beautiful. I do think it's a lovely, sweet deck. How much I will use it in the capacity, in the way in which I do readings, because I don't just do readings for myself. I'm doing readings for other people all the time. And so, usually people have a lot of questions beyond what a 3-card spread can answer. So would I take this along to do readings where I could take something like this, where I'll get more answers because there's more to work with? Yeah, it's an interesting thing to ponder, and I've been debating. I mean, I know there were several just flip throughs that came out, and so I was debating whether or not I would even want to talk about it. But yeah, I'm in this declutter phase with my decks right now, so I'm really in that sort of comparative place. If this deck and this deck do the same thing, do I need both? Can I have one versus the other? Which one is going to actually be more useful to me? Which one do I like to look at better? you know, so I'm in this kind of really analytical place right now when I'm looking at my decks and really evaluating, even though it's beautiful, is it useful to me? So yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts are with that today. So anyways, I hope that this was useful to you. Certainly it's gorgeous. And if you're still here, thanks so much for sticking around. I really appreciate having you here and having you hang out with me. And I hope that whatever's happening in your world today, that you have an absolutely fabulous day and a wonderful week. And take care.